Welcome to the Wire to Wire podcast. As always, it's me, your host Yusuf. Now, without further ado, let's just get right to it. Now, Shams Charania has broken the news earlier that the Phoenix Suns has traded Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets in exchange for Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, the number 10 pick in the 2025 NBA draft, and 5 second-round picks. Now, it was widely known that Kevin Durant would be traded at some point, but it was unclear to who it would be. But now all of that has been settled. So what do I make of this trade? This, to me, was not a good trade for the Houston Rockets. They had an incredible season where they finished second in the tough Western Conference, and they had a young nucleus and a bright future. They essentially gave up Jalen Green, who has a potential as a two-way player, as well as Dillon Brooks, who provided mental toughness and defensive physicality, which is necessary. The Houston Rockets are essentially mortgaging away their future for a 36 going on 37-year-old star player who was on the tail end of his prime, and I don't believe can anymore contribute to a winning team or create a winning culture or a winning environment. Ever since he left the Golden State Warriors, he has been unable to replicate the success that he experienced when he was on the Warriors. The Brooklyn Nets didn't work out. It didn't work out in Phoenix despite them having a lot of talent on their roster with Devin Booker as well as Bradley Beal. And I really don't expect things to work out in Houston either, because there is no precedent that Kevin Durant is able to elevate teams or elevate the players around him. Now, he gets defensive or upset when people on social media question his leadership, but the reality is he's not a leader. I believe unless the Houston Rockets do something drastic, they will take a step back from where they were the season that had just finished. From a basketball perspective, Kevin Durant doesn't play defense. While he can still score, that is about the only thing that the Houston Rockets will be able to get out of him. He will score and get buckets, but he won't provide any of the other intangibles that's needed in order for them to be able to win. Now, obviously, the offseason hasn't really officially started yet, but the Houston Rockets, I'm sure, will try to continue to make some moves to be able to build this team. But I personally don't believe that it's wise for them to build a team around an aging star at this point in his career. Jalen Green is young, athletic, can score, and he can defend. And I believe that he has talent. Now, I don't agree with a lot of his off-court antics in his personal life, as well as some of the attire that he chooses to wear. But on the court itself, there is no doubt that he has potential. He was also a key factor in why the Houston Rockets had success in the regular season and why they were at least competitive in the playoffs. Dillon Brooks is a 3-and-D player who provides physicality and takes the challenge of guarding the other team's best players. When watching these NBA Finals, you see guys like Obi Toppin or even guys like Lou Dort being key contributors for their teams. And I believe that Dillon Brooks is at the very least cut from that same cloth. I'm not saying he's better than those guys, but I'm saying he's made from the same mold or cut from the same cloth and can provide a similar value that those guys also provide their teams right now playing at the highest level. So when I look at a lot of the pieces that the Houston Rockets gave up, I believe that they are sacrificing their future. Now, I think the Phoenix Suns got a pretty good deal in exchange for their aging star, who clearly did not want to be there and who they didn't even want there. Phoenix Suns were clearly a team that had a tumultuous locker room that started to bleed onto the court, which is obvious by the lackluster season that they're coming off of. It was clear that both sides needed to move on. Now here is Kevin Durant, who's fresh off the trade, speaking about this.
A lot of heartbroken Suns fans right now. What would you like to say? That's not true. No, literally, heartbroken Suns fan. Right over there. What?
I just felt like, they wanted me to go. So it's like, I'm glad we both, they got what they wanted and I got what I wanted. So we can move on, and good luck to them going forward. And I always remember my time there, but we on something else.
Now you're going to go kick.
Now it seems that there has been drama on every team that KD has been on, and he has found complaints for every team that he has played for. At this point, it seems that he is the common denominator. Now I think the Phoenix Suns find themselves in a pretty good position. This trade gives them the flexibility and the options to make more trades and to build their team from the ground up. It appears that they want to move Jalen Green despite just acquiring him in this trade, and they are also looking to move Bradley Beal. They can clear those huge salaries off of their books and start building towards their future. However, by trading for Kevin Durant, the Houston Rockets are in a position where they must win now. I expect that they will make more moves in the offseason and try to go all out in competing for a championship. However, history shows that when trying to build a winning team around an aging star, it usually doesn't work out. But we'll see how it goes for them moving forward. Now let me say this. These NBA Finals has shown that the new direction that the NBA is going in is that it's no longer about having super teams or stacking the deck. It's about having a well-balanced team that can produce on both ends of the floor and be versatile in how they play the game. Guys like Kevin Durant are used to the near past of having super teams or having teams that are top heavy in talent in order to be able to win. Just look at the Phoenix Suns and look how that turned out. That style does not work anymore. So this NBA Finals and really these playoffs have shown that that model no longer works. As great of a coach that Ime Udoka is, I think he is expected to make $1 out of 15 cents. And when the Houston Rockets don't produce the expected results, he will ultimately be blamed for it. In the end, he will be yet another coach that will become the sacrificial lamb for Kevin Durant because KD himself, the media, and even some of his fans, they don't want to accept the uncomfortable truth about him, which is that he is no longer a winning player. And I'm sorry, but I need to say this as well. This trade happens on the day that Game 7 of the NBA Finals is taking place. Now, this has been an incredible finals, and this game is literally do or die. So the focus and attention should be on the game. Instead, this trade gets announced today, and it goes to show how complicit the mainstream media is in not doing a good job of promoting the game. They literally could have waited until after the finals concludes to make this announcement and to make this trade official. It's crazy because they talk about the low rating of the NBA Finals, but they don't seem to understand why it's happening. This is part of the reason why. The media puts no effort in promoting both of these teams that are considered small market teams, and instead they want to focus all of their attention on things that are happening outside of the game rather than focusing on the games that are being played right now. This is not a good look for the NBA that on the day of Game 7, literally the biggest stage in basketball and the most important game being played, that they're talking about a trade instead of the actual game that's about to take place. The entire pregame leading up to it will only be focused on the trade rather than the Game 7. And that to me is really disappointing, and I find that to be crazy. But at least now we know where Kevin Durant is going. This can put an end to all of that speculation. But I just wanted to come on here and do this episode quick just to discuss this trade and give my early interpretation and analysis of it. That's all I got for you guys today. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and to share it with your people. You can also follow me and the podcast on social media. You can check out my books. All of the links will be in the description. Until next time.